What does it mean to be Brazilian? What is Brazil's mission? The human species faces a point of no return, a twist in history and future, in every possible aspect we can imagine. And these are not bad news. On the contrary, the light of consciousness has finally reached the end of the tunnel, where Brazil will shine its light as the land of the future. Many secrets have been kept from us, and today, based on the extensive research and experience of Doutora Cláudia Bernhardt de Souza Pacheco, we will talk about Brazil's hidden history and mission towards the golden age, which will finally bring peace and abundance to all of us. Doutora Cláudia is a psychoanalyst, psychologist, author of 15 books, director of the Faculdades Trilógicas KEPPEMOTOR Pacheco, founder and president of the KEPPEMOTOR Pacheco Institute of Science and Technology, founder of the Stop the Destruction of the World Association, and vice president of CITA, International Society of Analytical Trilogy. We're also here with Richard Jones, a psychoanalyst and professor at Millennium, the language center of Faculdades Trilógicas KEPPEMOTOR Pacheco.
Yes.
With over 30 years of experience with communications as a radio and TV host, writer, producer, voiceover actor, and podcaster. He also presents the Stop Radio and facilitates workshops based on KEPPE's science and of analytical trilogy. So
I say over 30 years because I want to seem like I'm young, but it's probably over 40 years now for me. Look, I'm a Canadian. What am I doing here talking with Brazilians about Brazil? It's because Brazil is this kind of magical country that when we think about Brazil, we think about happiness and joy and people welcoming other people. But Brazil has a much deeper history than that, as you're going to talk about. So This is a beautiful thing to be here. So just want to give some context to what I'm doing here.
It's really cool. And thank you. Thank you for this.
I need to thank you and Richard and all of you, because this work is not just a work for a group of people, of a school of thought, as KEPPE founded his school of thought called Analytical Trilogy. But it's a work for humanity, all peoples, all countries, all nations coming together to accomplish a dream that relies inside each human being, no matter what color, what religion, what country, what sex, whatever, what age. Since we are born with this dream to recover happiness we lost sometime in the past. And this dream we say in Portuguese, saudades do futuro, or saudades de Deus, saudades do paraíso. How can we say this in English?
Longing. It's a longing or a yearning for the future, for a beautiful time in the future, for God.
For what we lost in the past, for what the happiness we lost in the past. And every human being does everything he can, many times mistakenly, invertedly. They are mistaken, but they are in search of happiness. And the pursuit of happiness is in the American Constitution, right?
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not only in American Constitution, but it is inside our DNA.
Yeah.
That's why they could write it. They could only write it if it came from something that they already knew, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we know that all cultures have this dream to come back to a golden age. You know this. You study Buddhism and Hinduism, whatever Eastern philosophy, they have this.
Yeah.
They have this knowledge. Islamic people have this knowledge. And Christians have this knowledge. The return of a golden age. And many of those people that are working for this now, they know little of how many heroes kings, prophets, artists, common people worked, died for this dream to accomplish what they say, this skeptical people call it utopia, as a thing that could never be accomplished. When Thomas More spoke about utopia, he was not speaking about something that would never happen. This is like cynicism? Cynicism.
Plato's New Republic, all of these were.
And knowing that our genetic and the genetic of humanity and the genetic of creation lead us all to beauty, truth, and goodness for all. So this is printed in each human being. And we see this. You know, I have attended many people from many countries, Renato. I have worked in United States for 5 years, attending people not only from United States, but, you know, New York is very international.
Yeah.
So I had this contact with the inner life of many cultures, many religions, and all of them suffer from the same problem, and they search and they expect something from life that is similar. And then I went to Europe, where I lived and worked for 7 years, and came back to Brazil. And you know something, Brazil, especially São Paulo, an international city, is the only place we can really do a work such as analytical trilogy, like in more freedom, because here we can speak about spirituality, we can interact with all religions, all races, everything, with no problem. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah. That's why I'm here.
That's why you are here.
Exactly why I'm here.
And you were talking about utopia before, and there is a poet that already passed, unfortunately, I like very much. It's called Eduardo Galeano. He's a Chilean guy. And once he was asked about utopia, what is it, utopia? And he said, well, utopia is like the horizon. You know, if we walk 10 steps towards the horizon will put itself 10 steps further. If we go 20 steps, again, 20 steps further. So I guess thinking about Eastern philosophies, especially Taoism, which is connected to Kung Fu, which is an art that I practice, it's all about this path, this walking, you know. So when we think about the path of life, the walk of life, it has to do with this utopia, not in terms of wanting to grab it, because we will never grab it, because it's perfect, it's immortal, it's further than our, let's say, organic bodies and mindset in this particular frequency of life, let's say. So I guess it's putting ourselves in that goal, in that direction of reaching that, but knowing that, okay, that's the utopia, that's the horizon, you know. So I guess it's the motivation that we need in order to walk the path and actually leave the status quo in order to build this future, in order to build this, knowing that this is a contribution that maybe we will not be able to fully absorb and benefit from, but rather our children and grandchildren. And this is where I think Brazil has this major role as a country that receives everyone, that accepts different cultures, that accepts different thoughts. And I mean, I have lived abroad too. I have lived in Germany, and I have traveled abroad a lot too. So whenever you say Brazil, people open a smile. They say, oh, cool. Of course, they think about samba and football and caipirinha and all that, but also they know that Brazilians are really like receptive, and this is a really nice thing, especially during these times that we live in, you know, in which we need to find inspiration in a people that will not judge where do you come from and how do you think, and etc., etc. So today, 7th of September, is such an important date, 200 years since the proclamation of the Brazilian independence. So I'm very happy to be able to talk about this, even though I'm not an expert. I mean, you'll be able to talk way more about this, but being a Brazilian and being an enthusiast of Brazil, I'm really happy to be here.
To be a Brazilian especially to be Paulistano, is to be international. Absolutely. We are the blend of immigration, many peoples, many religions. We are immigrants here, but here we melted down, like we melted all these characteristics. I have something to contribute to what you said, and I agree that so far has been like this, Renato. Perfection is not achievable here at this time, at this moment. Perfection is what we are going to experience, I understand, in the transcendental level in the world of spirits one day. But we are in interaction with perfection all the time. And otherwise we would not be living creatures anymore. So perfection is in our everyday life. The problem is that we do not accept it. We really refuse goodness. We refuse to enjoy this utopia because the good is here and now. And the more neurotic and psychotic people are those that put this goodness ahead, far away in the future, as like a potential aspect, and not something that is like pure action now in our lives. So the more neurotic the person is, the more he puts this away further in other situations in the future, and not that eternity is now. We have the doors to reach eternity and perfection now. We cannot be in the future. We are now. And our future will be reached through the now, the good that we enjoy and acceptation. So in the understanding of Christianity, for example, they claimed, well, here is impossible. So you will have what you deserve after death. So life after death will be heaven, but here is hell, or short of. This is a condemnation that is a mistake that probably the evil spirits brought to the planet. This condemnation doesn't need to be. It's a mindset of humanity. So what we do in Analytical Trilogy, working with the inner lives of people, is to bring this consciousness to them. So as soon as they understand that they have inside of them this inner door to reach perfection, you can do this like bit by bit, some instance, some hours, or maybe a bigger time, but you can heal many diseases, you can heal many problems and conflicts if you change your mindset. And understand that we are upside down. Here is paradise still. What changed is our mindset.
Isn't this the process of healing, right? Is to somehow deal with those things that are getting in the way of health, right? So health is the natural state. We're sick because we're doing things against our health. So if we begin to correct those things that are against health, we return to...
And everybody is, and society is, and institutions are, and the whole planet is walking toward destruction. They have a mindset to destroy.
Not walking towards paradise, walking the opposite.
They claim they want in paradise. That's why generally this... populist guys that have millions following them, because they don't understand this, and because people don't understand this, they become powerful people, very pathological. A pathology of power is here, hindering us to reach this paradise that is here and now, and they are destroying every day food, water, air, laws, habits,
even the technology, right?
Technology, everything is upside down. It's heading to destruction, and people are not realizing this. So our science, Renato, deals with this, how we are upside down in our way of seeing things and creation.
When you say we don't realize this, could this also be interpreted as we are paralyzed in terms of fear of not knowing how to handle this? Because let's take, for instance, the fossil fuels. I mean, we had Tesla in the 19th century. He realized, okay, so there's this abundant energy for everyone. And then someone came, no, let's burn some fuel. So let's burn some oil. And then an entire industry has been built around this. Trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars with infrastructures and pipes and machines and everything else, cars, airplanes, everything, absolutely everything based on this specific source of energy. And now we're saying, no, it's wrong. We need to go back. We need to do it the way Tesla suggested. We need to. It's matter coming from energy and not the other way around. And then people say, okay, so how do I handle this? I mean, everything, even this glass of water, has been built with energy coming from a non-renewable source. Yes. So how do we handle this? Maybe this is what brings paralysis to people.
I think that what brings paralysis to people is the unconsciousness of this inversion in their minds, because we really are stuck to matter. We are stuck.
And especially to money, right? I mean,
money, matter, and if we continue to vibrate in a lower level, we will never get there. Absolutely. Now, people built an empire of exploitation through this energy business. It's huge, the energy business. So they are afraid to lose their money, thinking that money is their lives, right?
Yeah.
This is a wrong mindset. It's an inverted mindset. They think that if money disappears, I'm not saying this intention people have to get rid of money so they can control other people even better. No, I'm saying that if we would not have other means to live other than dealing with reality, then things would work much better. Now, let me speak in practice. We have this technology, KEPPEMOTOR, right? You know that it's huge.
Yeah.
This is huge. KEPPE developed with 3 engineers, Tesla's initial ideas, right? And they developed a technology that saves an incredible amount of energy. So if this technology would be used now, and it has received already 8 awards in England and in China and Taiwan. No, Taiwan, Hong Kong.
Patents, right? Not
and patents
but
too.
Awards too.
Awards
yeah.
and patents. Yeah. As the best technology for the planet in the moment. What happens? Are they afraid of what, Renato? What are they afraid of? They can start little by little. They can start. It's not difficult to do this. Start little by little. Money is not something that they don't have. They don't need money to build a plant of this new technology. But what they would have to do is to create a technology that they cannot control anymore.
Yeah.
It will belong to people. It will bring freedom to people. Yeah. And this is their fear. They don't want peoples to be free.
Yeah.
And this is a wrong mindset, because they will never, ever be able to achieve a true happiness or accomplishment for themselves, living in a world with thousands and billions of people that they are exploiting and are
desperate
and oppressed, yeah. And hating them.
Squashed and hating them.
And hating them. How can you live a life with billions of people hating you?
This is the thing, Renato. People are afraid to let go of what they know, right? And especially if somebody has risen to a situation of power, they're not going to just let that go, you know. So that they're not afraid of the the sort of the paradise. They're afraid to lose what they already have. This is a huge pathology of power.
Now, this is sickness. This is mental
a big
sickness.
Yeah.
And that fear is an important word here, because if you take the stock market, for instance, it's interesting. What drives investments in the stock market is fear. So I'm putting this money here to buy this stock or this derivative, whatever it is, because I'm afraid that in a certain date, this particular money could be worth less.
Yeah.
So then I'm going to invest here based on this promise that in the future is going to be worth more. So when you say about a technology that it would be able to let go of the ownership, let's say, of that patent, I think it goes even further. The mainstream, let's say, industry is afraid of this, because that would imply also changing the economic logic of investments. Because today you put $10 here in order to get $15 in the future. This is the basic assumption. It has always, it's preponderant that it should grow. It cannot go down, of course. So it has to go up. So if we think about energy, and this is what KEPPEMOTOR brings forth, this new paradigm. If energy today is the reason of a war, there's a country with a lot of gas, with a lot of oil that is saying, no, you need to bow to me now. So, and because energy is what allows crops to grow, is what allows industry products to be built. So
energy is everything.
So if the energy paradigm changes, and this is the offer, the proposal of KEPPEMOTOR, then the whole logic of putting money in order to get a return later, that will change too.
Yeah.
You will need to include social, economic, social, human relations in this equation, because that is not in the equation today. Now is exclusively money. 10 in order to get 15, and that's it.
And what is the biggest inversion here? You too.
Money is more important than anything else, right?
Money
it dominates everything.
Yeah.
Even the rich people and the miserable ones, everybody in this planet live for money. As if money would be much more important than being and spirituality. So our biggest strength is in our spirit. It's not money. And whatever you do, you need your spirit first.
In fact, if you put money in the place of all those things, you're actually diminishing the value of what it is to be a human being, what a being. You're making money the basis of value, of worth.
And you see that this is impeding science to develop, is impeding technology to develop, is impeding arts to develop. Civilization stopped and started coming backwards, especially in this age, sadomasochistic age of people being stuck to money. Now, the people who are stuck to money, they do not realize how much happier, healthier, and richer they would become if they would realize that they are upside down. This is a huge work, isn't it, Renato? I don't know what will need to be done. I don't know. But I know this is here in the planet already. So this is here. This truth, this technology, this science is here. One day, sooner or later, this will be known. And people will ask, why did you...
Where have you been?
What happened? What did you do with this science? Why did you do this to the science? Why did you hide it, attack it? Why?
A very important word when we think about money is trust. If we go back to the 1970s with the Bretton Woods agreement, let's say. Prior to that, if you had $1, you would have to have an equivalent of gold in the same measure.
But
in the 70s with the oil crisis, Reagan said, no, it's dollar with the dollar. So what does that mean? That there is one currency that dictates the rest of other currencies, and it's not backed by anything. So we need to trust. And that's why it's such an important word.
It's backed by faith.
It's backed by faith that the US government will pay it back. So trust is a very important word. And if people don't trust themselves, when I say themselves, their inner goodness and the God within and the light
and consciousness,
and
truth.
consciousness and creativity
truth.
and art and everything else. If they don't trust that, they will not trust other people. They will not trust what money can provide.
Yeah.
And this is also, sorry to extend myself a little bit here, but thinking about what is happening in the world now with geopolitics, the dollar is under a severe attack.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It's going to lose its position.
It's going to lose. And,
Sure.
and I think sooner rather than later. And this is going to be replaced by a new paradigm, which is going to be like a basket of commodities. This is what is happening with the whole China and Russia.
This is what they plan, right?
They're planning to do this.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's going to fly, but it's changing the paradigm that you have dollar with dollar, and that's it.
Yeah.
No, there's going to be commodities.
United States is not anymore in the position of being the leader of the world, and not even the leader of the Western world, right? So things do not go the way people expect, people in power. They don't understand each other. They don't speak the same language.
And we see people protesting all over the world against this now. There's a huge protest in Sri Lanka, in Holland, in Canada. People are protesting against this.
Will really this plan work as they are planning? We don't know, right? We don't know what is going to happen in the planet. You see all these catastrophes. Some people say this is caused intentionally by the powerful. Some people say this is the natural consequence of many destructive policies,
habits,
industries, in energy mostly, energetic habits and patterns. Some people say this is something that is happening because of some big planet that is approaching the Earth. And other people even think this could be happening because of spiritual reasons, spiritual initiatives of the spiritual world. We don't know that. We only know that life can only be and exist according to its finality and to its DNA. And this DNA is not decided by us humans. And life can only proceed if we are humble enough to respect creation. And people have not been respecting this so much because they are godlike creatures. They are theomaniac creatures. They think themselves as God, as being gods in the planet. So this is something, Renato, I think will be the last word. God and his power will be the last word. And it can be like through natural means, through supernatural, transcendental means. And we will need to go back to the origin, to the golden age we lost in the past. This is a must. Otherwise, the planet will disappear again, as it has before. Yeah. And it will start all over again. But I understand that we have a science now that is here and could be helpful and is helpful. And I believe it's going to be very helpful to what will be after this crisis. Renato, the crisis is coming, and I understand that it will be bigger than it has been so far. And people will see, I need to change. A change is needed.
And yes, and unfortunately, when people resist to change will come inevitably. Yes. And if they resist to it, it's going to hurt.
Yes.
Big time.
Yes.
But let me just reiterate.
Unnecessarily.
Yeah, unnecessarily. Yeah. This point that Cláudia's making, there's only one way out of this thing, and that's to be connected to what is to be a true human being, a true being in this universe, right? If we're trying to impose on top of that, it's always going to be wrong. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter what they do.
We in the September 7th,
yes.
Yep.
200 years of independence.
Yeah.
We can say that in Brazil, São Paulo, in the 70s, something showed up which was called Analytical Trilogy, created by a Brazilian scientist. And he brought something very meaningful that can, and I understand, will be used to help after crisis.
Is being used. Is
being used. It could hinder a lot of destruction if people wake up in time. Yeah. We provide this information for free. We have books for free. We have courses. We have a college teaching the science. We teach this technology. It must be developed in higher potential.
Yeah. More potent engines, right?
More potent engines.
More torque, and
This is here to be developed. But what we have so far would already be so helpful to nature, to humanity, with this magnetic energy that it provides to the environment. And magnetic energy is healthy, brings a lot of good things to biology, to nature, to plants, to human beings, to health.
Doesn't have these negative side effects that so many energy sources have?
No. So electricity is very dangerous
Very
and
destructive.
very destructive.
Sure.
But magnetism is what is needed to rebalance nature. It's magnetism. And this technology brings magnetism to the environment, to the planet.
Yeah.
I think there's a very interesting conversation here about this when it comes to entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Because, okay, the technology exists. It's there. And people need to grasp it and adjust it into different applications with bigger engines and bigger power, et cetera, et cetera. So that would imply in more people working towards developing this.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we say this, in my head, the word entrepreneurship comes.
Yes.
And if most of the people are working just because they have to earn some money to pay the bills and that's the classic paradigm. And we're talking here about this inversion. How can we then disinvert people in order to use this God power of creation to create new technologies and put new endeavors, new as entrepreneurs, building new solutions, new technologies, new businesses, new relations, everything else.
Disinverted in some
Disinverted.
way.
No.
Disinverted entrepreneur.
That's a shock.
Renato, this is a question I'm after the answer of it. I'm really after the answer for this question. What we have been doing so far is not letting this technology to fall into evil hands. So that would do with this technology what happened to Tesla.
Yeah.
So we are taking care of this. But we are not hiding it. So it is there. It is here. People are coming. Engineers are coming to study for their own sake because they are enjoying to work with this. They are eager to develop this. So more and more engineers are participating in this research and development of this technology. We call it PD in Portuguese.
R&D.
R&D, research and development.
R&D. And so this is what has been happening so far. And we have a small manufacturing still that has been working in a very tiny city. Beautiful, energetic, paradise-like.
Bucolic paradise.
Bucolic in the south of Minas Gerais, called Cambuquira. We have our college there, and we have an oficina.
Yeah, little workshop.
We call it oficina in Portuguese. So we have people working and producing, manufacturing really, motors, researching ventilators.
No, fans.
Sorry. And so it's alive. We are keeping it alive. And we are keeping it among people who are idealistic. And little by little, Renato, people are realizing, so is this true? So they come and they see and they test. It's all science. It's all experimental. So what we are now is thinking when, how this will be better known and trust will be given to it. So people will really trust, this is it. So it's worthwhile to dedicate our time, our brains, our money to develop this for our own good.
Yeah.
So far, people are using in their homes, in their small farms, to help agriculture, pecuária.
Fish
Livestock,
farms, right? Yeah. And livestock.
Cattle.
Anything. Yeah. Any cattle.
Farms of
any
livestock.
living creatures. Yeah. So and farmers are using this technology already. Yeah. So it's, I don't know, Renato. I don't know. This answer, I would be too theomaniac if I would have the answer for this. I don't have it.
It will depend on people coming and taking opportunity, seeing the opportunities and developing them. You know, when people start to see that this is a future and not just a fad, but something that's really connected to a possibility, then
we know that many Europeans are moving from Europe, are leaving Europe now because the life in Europe, especially in Germany, not only, but even Americans are leaving America to Portugal because better life, better quality of life. But we see many Germans coming to South America.
Paraguay, especially, I think there's many Germans.
Now, we are settled in a very nice town. People who want to come and to study, they can have student visas and they can come and settle here, definitely or not definitely, or whatever they prefer, to study this technology, to study this science, because then they can come back to their countries and bring this to their countries. And also participate in the beginning of a true new form of living. Very solid.
I think we can maybe go back to the beginning of the conversation.
I'm inviting. I'm inviting you. I'm inviting you to come and know and see it works and it's true. And do not just wait for destruction in where you live. So everybody that is like idealistic, it's time. The time has come.
And trying to go back to that concept of investment that we spoke before, that old paradigm, the old paradigm being money driven, but now thinking of investment as an investment in consciousness.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So having a technology like this, which is of course is a motor, so it's something external to my own body, of course, but it's benefiting my body, my soul, my spirit, everything else. So it's realizing that everything is one with this, the energy that is that keeps my body together is the same energy that keeps this piece of engine together. Everything is driven by the same power, the same thing. So when we think about investments, in resonance, correct. And then thinking that I'm investing in consciousness for myself, for everybody else, for the world, using technology, but at the same time putting money where it should be as a secondary or maybe third, like I don't know which position, but definitely not the first one.
And eventually it will bring even more money to you and to everybody. It will bring much more richness to everybody. It will not create a poor society. On the opposite, it will bring energy, like
true abundance, right? Abundance for
abundance of energy. So imagine what you can do with all this energy free for everybody, you know? So we use solar energy in our motors in a very cheap setting because we don't need the transformations, the inverters, whatever. So it is really something that is not expensive, and it will be 100% free because you can use solar energy. So imagine the richness that this will bring, Renato, to the planet. Having energy free. So free energy is what everybody is expecting. And they don't know this is already here.
It will free up industry.
Smaller scale still. I'm not a liar. I'm not a delirious person. So it's still in a small scale so far. Meio cavalo.
Half horsepower.
Yeah. But it can grow. And this can do a lot already. Meio cavalo. Half
horsepower.
Yeah.
Half.
So, Renato, imagine what can be. And not only this, as you said, this will change the mindset. This motor will change the mindset. And people that come to study, they study also the science and the metaphysics that is behind the motor. So people will even grow as human beings because they will learn about psychopathology, sociopathology, which is what created the motor, gave birth to the motor. KEPPE was not a physicist. He's not an engineer. He's a psychoanalyst. And he created a less neurotic kind of technology. So understanding how the mindset of people is neurotic and upside down, he was able to correct many areas in science, in society, just by applying these scientific discoveries he did with the human mind, through the human mind.
Yeah. Well, let's think then, we're talking about the here and now, right? And this energy that is present here and now, and that drives technology and drives... So when we think about the future, maybe I'll put it as my own interpretation. Then you tell me what you think.
That you are like... You are coming sort of a little bit an outsider. Yeah. So you bring the doubts that people from outside will have.
Correct.
And they have.
So think about this, the timeline. So we're talking about the future, which in my perception actually is the future is here and now, as a way of projection, of imagining, as the same way that the past is a memory, but all of them present now, here and now.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about a change in the mindset with regards to money and economics, etc., even physics, right? What would be this new metaphysical reality of the here and now, assuming that we fully grasp the meaning of KEPPE's work, of this technology? Because if we're talking about resonance, we're talking about waves. We're talking about waves and vibrations instead of particles, right? So from an outsider,
intuitively getting there.
Yeah. So my perception is, what would it mean in practice to perceive reality, the fabric of reality, as a vibration of a godlike energy, of one powerful almighty energy?
What a blow up and
it blows people's minds. You know?
So it will be a mind blower.
Mind blower.
And I think, having lived abroad and coming back to Brazil, I fully believe. I'm not a big fan of the word belief, but being here and understanding the power of Brazil, energy-wise, culture-wise. Resources-wise, everything.
Affection-wise.
Affection-wise. What is Brazil's role in this golden age? Like in practice, with this new paradigm of physics, of energy, technology, everything else. I don't think people can understand what does mean. And I can kind of intuitively guess, but
you're getting a little glimpses
you can talk way better about this.
I think that any intellectual explanation would impoverish this that is very close to us, Renato. It's much closer than what we think. It will be, this understanding of é aquela massa crítica.
Critical mass, right? Critical mass.
Of consciousness. We are almost there in reaching this critical mass of energy, of consciousness. This will be a mind blower thing, because
it's more than a paradigm shift. It's a complete reimagining
I think that
of
we
reality.
will start even to experience things beyond matter. I'm sure we will experience things beyond matter. We'll see things, we'll hear things, we'll experience things that are here and now, and we don't, because we are in a lower vibration. Magnetism in a higher quantity in the planet will bring this even physical perception, because we are like dumb people.
Slow, dim-witted.
Our brain is
slow. Yeah. We say dim-witted in English. We don't have the capacity to understand
because
at a higher level because we're vibrating too low.
Low quantities of magnetism. If we have it in a bigger quantity, I understand our neurons will work differently. Much differently. You know that people treat from depression with magnets, don't you?
Yeah.
So this is a kind of treatment people use.
With like shocks, right? With,
No, magnets. And like a head of magnets.
Magnetotherapy.
Magnetotherapy. So if you can bring people from depression, you can even putting them in a lower scale, naturally in a bigger scale of vibration. Yeah. Naturally. Because you cannot take in more magnetism than what you are expecting or expected to do. Yeah. So you grasp what you need, you grasp what you can. It's not invasive magnetism. It's a natural thing. It's the energy of creation.
Not only depression, but also organic diseases.
Yeah. Organic diseases, they have been treated by magnetism. Oh, there is so much to be developed, Renato, so much to be researched and developed. So beautiful. Yeah. When people realize that the powerful, we don't need them. They are hindering our development. The powerful so far have been destroying lives and destroying civilization.
Leading destruction. They're the leaders of destruction. Yeah.
You see medicine, you see chemical industries, energetic things. Now, they are saying, we will have electric cars. But it will need electricity. Yeah. And where does electricity come for them?
Coal and oil and gas. And
water.
That's not such a big breakthrough then.
No, it's just a masquerade. It's creating a new industry of electric cars, and they will spoil and
the batteries are toxic and lots of side effects.
No, you need to charge the batteries with electricity all the time. And where this electricity they take from?
Yeah. Well, especially now, right? With everything that is going on, the crisis in Europe, it's increasing. In Germany, for instance, they are increasing a lot the amount of coal that they're burning. Yeah. France. Yeah. They're considering.
So if they are afraid they are going to they have to give up these things, they will have to give up them anyway. So when they have to give up them anyway, then they will have this here.
Yeah.
Brazil with the solution.
Yeah.
Brazil, the hope for the world.
And this is such a cool thing.
Science in Brazil. Yeah. Imagine. Who believed or who thought one day people would come to Brazil to learn?
Oh, you're from Brazil. What a great science you have there. No, nobody says that now. No. It'll happen.
It will happen.
And how about maybe then a final message for Brazilians who need to understand this? Brazilians who live still in that old paradigm of a colony. We say the síndrome de vira-lata. I don't know how to say that in English.
The mongrel syndrome.
Mongrel syndrome.
I would even send a message
wake up
to the Brazilians that live abroad.
Yes.
They know what is to be a Brazilian living abroad, how hard it is for a Brazilian to live abroad. It's not easy. All this soul side, this affection side, you starve when you go there. You have to forget, you have to...
It gets crushed, actually.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
So I'll have to tell you that here in Brazil, we are developing something that you can be proud of. You will be proud of being a Brazilian abroad. Not because you are working for the big corporations, some of you, but you will be proud because here in Brazil, there is a science that have the power or has the power to literally save the planet. And I'm not being megalomaniac.
No.
I'm not. I'm being very realistic.
And it's here and now.
And it's here and now.
Yeah.
So?
Well,
it's time.
It is time. It is time. And
this could be a beginning of a series of conversations.
That's a beautiful conversation, this.
Yeah. And I'm addressing to all of you, not only Brazilians, I'm addressing to Latin Americans, North Americans, Europeans, Asians, Russians, Arabic countries,
people. Yeah.
Whoever.
Muslims, Christians,
whoever. All of you that still have some sort of light inside, wish to be happy. You need to have this wish to be happy. You need to have saudades of being happy. Saudades do paraíso, as we speak in Portuguese.
Yeah.
Thank you too.
Thank you very much. That was great.
Marvelous.
It was really nice. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you.
And thank you.
Thank you.
And
bye-bye.
See you next time.